Says, what did you think of Bob Ollinger on Saturday? I wasn't as impressed as some of the write-ups. Well, you have to think about it in context, right? It was his first chase. It's all about just education, right? At the end of the day, it's about education towards the big spring festivals. So it wasn't all about winning at the weekend at Goran. But at the same time, he beat some good horses. Like Bacardi's has been running in Grade 1 races his whole life over hurdles. So to beat him the way he did, and the rest of them in a pretty decent chase race, I thought was impressive. His jumping on the whole was solid enough. The one thing with Goran Park is when you start to come out of the back straight at Goran Park, and you're rattling down towards the third last, it's a really fast, trappy downhill run to the third last fence. And if you get that wrong, you're in all sorts of problems. And you saw there that Ashdale Bob fell there, didn't he? Ashdale Bob tried to make a run up the inside of Bob Ollinger, and he came to grief at the third last. But Bob Ollinger was good. He was clever at that. He jumped the second last okay. And then everybody's kind of judging his whole performance on his mistake at the last. He kind of just clambered over it. But I just don't think he was concentrating on it. I don't think it was a bad mistake. I don't think it was a novice mistake. I think it was just showing a little bit of exuberance of youth, really. He just didn't concentrate on that last fence. And Bob Ollinger he's top class. He's top class. So give him a chance. He's a work in progress. That's what he is. He's a work in progress. But Bob Ollinger will get there. And people saying that Bravemansgame would beat him and all that, those people have very short memories. Very short memories when you think of what Bob Ollinger did to Bravemansgame at Cheltenham last year. I know that Bravemansgame is a natural over fences. I get that. But I'm not 100% sold on Bravemansgame. The fact that he made a length at every single fence, Bravemansgame. So people are rightly saying that he was a fantastic round the jumping, and it was brilliant, right? He made a length at every fence, and despite making a length at every fence, Itchy Feet was still gaining on him at the finish. So he never, at the real business end, like in the final furlong, he never really put the race to bed. And that really is my worry with Bravemansgame. They were comparing him to Kato Star, right? Kato Star put races to bed. He fucking put races to bed. Denman, another horse that Bravemansgame has been compared to. Denman pulverised horses, and he maintained a really strong gallop all the way through the line. Whereas if you go back and watch Bravemansgame at Haydock on Saturday, he was kind of slowing down a little bit in the closing furlong, I thought. A really top-class horse would be pulling right away from his rivals, making use of that jumping all the way around. And Bravemansgame didn't do that. So, look, everybody has recency bias, and everybody lets their eyes be, visually impressed and stuff like that. Bob Ollinger wasn't visually impressive. Bravemansgame was visually impressive, but there's more context behind it than that, Paul Nicholls has kind of made a point of mopping up good races with Bravemansgame, getting some good prize money in the locker. He's winning good races, this horse, and I think Bob Ollinger, it's all about spring for him, and they're just going to let him gradually ply his trade, whereas Bravemansgame is a more ready-made chaser. So I don't think you can compare the two, but yeah, I've said my piece about the two of them anyway.